chronic fatigue, appetite loss, change in weight, and physical weakness. What are these all symptoms of? The expected answer would be the flu or a cold, which is correct. But an unexpected answer would be depression, which is also correct. Now, the flu and depression both exhibit multiple physical consequences in common. But if they have almost identical reactions to the body, then why are they met with almost complete opposite stigmas? Today, I'm here to inform you all about mental health, the stigma around it, and what that does. A good place to start would be, what is a mental illness? The definition of mental illness can vary from person to person, from doctor to doctor, but the legal definition is any condition of the brain that alters everyday life. Not all mental illnesses are the same. They can start at any point in life, and they can end at any point in life. They can be something like ADHD and behavioral issues to eating disorders. No two mental illnesses are the same. They can also alter everyday life in different ways. It can be from something as simple as sleeping too much or sleeping too little, to something as complex and complicated as loss of motivation and loss of motor functions. The interesting thing about mental illnesses is that they can start in the brain, and at some point they can start to exhibit psychophysiological symptoms. And what that means is that as a reaction to the mental illness in your brain and the hormones and the chemical changes going on within your body, your physical body starts to alter and change the way it acts too. Also, just a note about mental illnesses. You can look up the symptoms online, but they should be diagnosed by a health professional. Unfortunately, finances and just overall availability of healthcare may prevent these things from happening. Next, I'd like to talk about how mental illnesses and physical illnesses are very similar. The first obvious thing is, like I said earlier, they both can display themselves physically in the body. Mental illnesses can lead to physical effects. They both can almost always be, or at least maintained, with some form of medication. And lastly, a study done by ABC News shows that your mindset can affect the severity of an illness, mental or physical. This isn't saying that being positive can cure you at the snap of a finger, but it's been shown in the study that if you think you're getting worse and you constantly put that negativity in your head, then you will begin to decline. But in patients who had a more positive mindset and always looked towards the future, this positively affected their healing process. The healing process for them was much quicker and much easier. This mindset concept applies to anything from cancer, a common cold, to even bipolar disorder. Lastly, I'd like to talk about society. As a society, we've made much progress, at least in the United States. We've made much progress from the time when women were institutionalized just for being unhappy to now. There are much more advocates for mental health and mental health awareness, and it's being pushed more as not something that's just made up. However, there's still a lot of progress to be made. Many cultures still reject mental illnesses for many reasons. There are Asiatic cultures as well as African cultures that view mental illness as personal character faults, as a sign of weakness, and as dishonorable. So it would be easier to ignore them as a whole instead of addressing them and attempting to cure them. There are also religions that reject mental illness for many aspects. For one, sometimes mental illness is seen as punishment for doing something that goes against the religion. Two, some religions view that the person with the mental illness is meant to suffer so that they become stronger at the end of it. And three, certain religions are against medication for physical or mental illnesses that could help. There are many stigmas that get passed down from generation to generation. So the negative mindsets around mental health live on. In conclusion, ignoring mental health and its illnesses and treating them as anything other than a sickness is very negative to the healing process. It harms more than it helps, and a positive mindset could easily be the solution. Thank you.